Once again, it's on. You know what time it is. It's time to play some toss. Welcome to episode 49 and the 5th anniversary. That's right, 5 years worth of toss, the Tristan on Sports Show. It is your main man, T-Squared, Tristan Thomas. What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining us. Man, 5 years already? Are you serious? I can't believe it, y'all. 5 years. 5 years we've been doing this every single Wednesday. Truthful, opinionated, passionate, heat straight from the kitchen. And this episode is not going to be any different. So let's get right into it. You know how we do. We start off with State of the State, where we talk about the state of sports in the state of Wisconsin. Yes, a lot of states up in there. We got to start off with the NFL season. The Green Bay Packers are back on an actual field in a real live game. No more practice field at the Don Hutson Center and no more, small practices on the pristine field of Lambeau. They headed out to Minnesota, US Bank Stadium, in a tough matchup against the Vikings, or what we thought was going to be a very tough matchup against the Vikings, which ended up being straight domination by the Green Bay Packers. 43-34 victory. You get your season started off at 1-0, which is exactly what you want to do each and every single week. Go 1-0. And the Packers were able to do that. I thought this was going to be a lot tougher, and at the beginning, and as I also predicted on Quick Toss, which you can watch on Instagram TV on Thursdays at the 2-0 double, I predicted that this game, much like many of the other games in NFL going on Sunday, would be defensive laden, because early on in the season, usually for the first 3 to 4 weeks, the defenses tend to be ahead of the offenses. With offense, you need that timing. Defense, not so much. It's just more technique. Not saying that there's no technique on the offensive side of the ball, but when you're talking offense, there's timing. There's that clock in your head, and the quarterback's head, and the running back's head, and the offensive line's head, and tight ends and receivers in their heads. You have to get on that same page with that timing, and that takes a few weeks. And with there being no preseason games this season due to COVID-19, you just knew that some of these offenses were going to struggle. And in some of those games, offenses were definitely struggling to score. Defenses were definitely stout. Nobody, and I mean nobody, including myself, saw the domination that was about to occur in Minnesota by the Green Bay Packers. Not a single one of you. Now, I did predict that they would win. I said they would win 21-17, but remember, if you do watch Quick Toss, it does not matter the score. All that matters is that I said the Packers would beat the Vikings, and they did so. But they did so in very convincing fashion, in very dominant fashion. It's week 1. You don't know if it's a microcosm of there being no preseason games. You don't know if it's a microcosm of injury. But both teams were dealing with injuries, and we'll get to that in a minute. You don't know if it was just the week 1 syndrome. We really don't know. Teams aren't what they're going to become in week 1. But it was straight domination. Aaron Rodgers and that Packers offense. Aaron Rodgers had one of those, oh, y'all must have forgot type games. 32 of 44 passing. 364 yards. He had 3 300-yard games all of last season. And 4 touchdowns. No interceptions, because you know he takes care of that football. The ball was coming out quickly. he was out there making just absolutely ridiculous throws. And you're talking about a touchdown pass to Davante Adams, just a dart. Just an absolutely silly touchdown pass to Allen Lazard. No footwork involved whatsoever, falling back pretty much in midair. Pushes it. It's a perfect spiral. And somehow, some way, he hits this guy right in the numbers for a touchdown. A short touchdown, but it was a touchdown nonetheless. The bomb to MVS before the half. And if you read the Toss blog, the one that I just released on Monday, the fallout, you will know that I felt that MVS touchdown, that long bomb to MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, was the backbreaker for me. I said, that's it. Now, the Vikings did make it a little bit interesting, but not very, because they really didn't even sniff the lead, nor did they even sniff tying that ball game. So they didn't even sniff the lead. They didn't sniff tying the game. They were of no real threat, which was surprising. Davante Adams, there was just no stopping him. A team record, 14 receptions, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. As I said on Quick Toss, look, Davante Adams is going to eat. A lot of defenses are going to be hard-pressed to stop him, but some will be able to, and you need to have the other guys that you decided to roll with step up. And they did. Valdes-Scantling, 4 catches. Should have been 6 catches. 96 yards. Should have been more than 96 yards. 1 touchdown. Should have been 2 touchdowns. But he had some absolutely brutal drops, which is really on brand for him. He'll make some spectacular catches. 1 or 2 a game. And then he will have some infuriating drops, which he did. But those drops did not come back to haunt you, at least not this week. That's something he's going to have to clean up. As I said, Allen Lazard, multiple receptions, a touchdown. Those guys showed up. Aaron Jones, tough running, 16 carries, 66 yards, but he did have a touchdown. You got all 3 backs in the rotation, as I said, the Green Bay Packers wanted to do, and they did on Quick Toss. You got Jones some carries. You got Williams some touches. You got the rookie, A.J. the Sauce Dillon, some touches. I thought Matt LaFleur did a really good job of rotating those backs throughout the game and rode Jones down the stretch to really bleed that clock out. The defense, that secondary, which was stout last season, one of the better passing defenses in all of the NFL. They did it again. Jair Alexander, a sack, a safety, and a pick in that game. Not very many corners have been able to do that every week, so he made a little bit of history. They came to play. Now, that front 7, again, I said it on Quick Toss, they really did not, for me, they really did not do enough to shore up that run defense. Dalvin Cook was still able to find holes, and he was still actually pretty productive. But you had to abandon that game plan because you fell behind. You got to put up points. You got to put them up quickly. So that continues to be a problem. That becomes even more of a problem if Kenny Clark, who went out of the game, did not return with a groin injury, is not able to play for some time. That is a place where you cannot afford multiple injuries for any length of time. They do not have the depth there. And speaking of depth, Lane Taylor. Man, speedy recovery to Lane Taylor. Went down last year with a season-ending knee injury, goes down this year on Sunday in the game against the Vikings with another season-ending knee injury. It's just brutal. Just brutal. You feel for that guy. He fought back. He fought hard, got back healthy, and then the first game goes down, out for the season again. So hopefully he can come back and recover, be that productive guy on the line that we all need. But now you're plugging holes. You got multiple areas on that line that guys are down, and now you're plugging holes, and you hope that nobody else goes down because you're really thin at that position. You're thin with bodies and you're thin with experience. So that's going to be something that you have to look out for. Obviously, you want health everywhere, all the time. But it's football. It's a violent game. You're going to have those injuries. So hopefully they continue to. And I didn't even mention the fact that, yeah, they plugged in guys on that line, but Rodgers was not sacked once. Not once. They did a fantastic job. They're going to have to do it again and again and again and again. So now you look to this week. You're at home opener, and I'm using air quotes as I say that. Another divisional opponent in Detroit with a burnable secondary. One of their corners is down. Their slot corner is down. Rodgers is probably licking his lips. I mean, you're talking about a team, a defense, a secondary that let the Chicago Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky light them up in the fourth quarter. What do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to do? Bears came back to win that game. Should not have won that game because the Lions running back dropped the ball in the end zone on one of the easiest touchdown catches you will ever have in your life, and he dropped it, and they subsequently lost the game. But they lost it before that because they should have never let the Bears come back in that game. But I digress. We're talking about the Packers. The Packers have a winnable game this Sunday at home, Lambeau Field, against the Lions. You got to go out there and take it. But it is there for you to win. So 1-0 for the Green Bay Packers. Dominance that nobody expected. Nobody saw them being that dominant. But then again, they're 15-4 in their last 19 games. Despite how they get it done. And it's usually a different game plan every single week. Despite how they get it done, they get it done. They need more respect, but I think they're just fine flying under the radar. Continue on here on Toss. State of the state. We've got to talk Milwaukee Brewers baseball. Milwaukee Brewers baseball. 60-game sprint. COVID has changed a lot of things for everyone. And the sports world is definitely affected by that. Instead of the normal 162, you get the 60-game sprint for the MLB. The Brewers entering play 21-25. Time is running out. Now, as I say this, they are currently playing, and they're up 17-2. Yes, you heard me, 17-2, and it's made more satisfying that they're up on the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals fans, they'll be mad. But entering play, they're 21-25. Time's running out. The MLB expanded the playoff field, 8 teams per league. First and second place teams of every division get in, and you still have those 2 wild cards. Brewers are only a couple of games back entering tonight. A couple of games back of that second wild card. They have a chance. But they need their offense to show up. Now, we'll get to them in a minute. Because the strength of this team since the beginning of this sprint has been the pitching. You have 2 absolute studs at the top of your rotation, and Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns. And you got Corbin Burns and some people's eyes in the race for a Cy Young Award. Woodruff and Burns have been fantastic. Burns, after that rough year, I mean, you knew what you were going to get out of Brandon Woodruff. He had a good year last year. You saw what he did in their run through the NLCS. You knew that he had the goods, that he was going to be a top of the rotation type of guy, but you were hoping that Corbin Burns would also be that kind of a guy. But for some reason last year, he just did not have it. Just did not have it. Looks like he's put it all together this year. And if this is the kind of consistent performance that you're going to get out of him, watch out. You got two studs at the top of that rotation. Sometimes that's all you need. As the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 2001. But it's not just those guys, not just those starters. You also have a bullpen. Josh Hader. Well, I mean, you know, what more can you say about him? He's been lights out, continues to be lights out. Devin Williams, the rookie, with that devastating changeup. My goodness. His changeup reminds me of Johan Santana. Remember Johan Santana, the great Minnesota Twin and New York Met, the lefty? Oh, I used to love watching him pitch. Just a devastating changeup. Just made the best hitters look foolish. And that's what Williams has been able to do. He has such a dominant changeup. I believe this past weekend was the first time that any batter has actually hit his changeup. That is how devastating it is. Just electric. But for as good as the pitching has been, the offense has been inconsistent at best. And I'm kind of biting my tongue on that. I know we're truthful, opinionated, and passionate here, but sometimes you just got to pull it back a little bit. This offense has been horrible. Now, I know y'all what you're probably thinking, NT Squared, you just said they're up 17-2 last night. Like, come on, man. There was a game where they put up 19 runs. I mean, come on now. How bad can that offense be? Okay, well, and you have a game where you put up 19, then you have a game where you put up only one run. Then you subsequently go and get no hit. 0 runs. 0 hits. This is how inconsistent this offense has been. Now, you come to expect that from the salary dump that occurred in the offseason and the frugal nature in which David Stearns and Mark Antanasio, Brewers owner, have employed. You got a bunch of guys, some retreads like Eric Sogard, who had a decent year with the Tampa Bay Rays, but where's that guy at this year? You let guys like Moose and Yasmani Grandal walk, which, you probably wouldn't be able to afford both of those guys. They were both looking for big money contracts because they went out there and played and earned those type of contracts. I think that maybe they could have at least kept one, but maybe they're trying to figure out, all right, well, I mean, what are we going to do for Christian Yelich? You knew that this offense, with the players that they brought in, was not going to be the greatest. And I don't think anyone had high hopes for the Brewers this year. I'm going to come out on the record and say I didn't have high hopes for the Brewers this year. I felt that they would pitch well, and that's come to fruition. But that offense, you let guys like I said, Yasmani Grandal and Mike Moustakas and Eric Thames, you let guys like that go. Guys that provide some thump in that lineup. Ryan Braun's not going to do it for you every day anymore. He'll come up with some clutch hits. He still is good for that. You thought you could count on former National League MVP Christian Yelich coming back off of that kneecap injury. But even he's had a rough year. you've got a lot of guys who typically have high averages hovering above the Mendoza line. That's definitely hurt your offense. And that has made this team violently inconsistent. You go out there, you get great pitching performances, like Brandon Woodruff just a few starts ago. Went out there, put up 7 strong innings, 12 strikeouts, no runs. Got a no decision. Brewers ended up winning that game. They scratched across 1 run, and that's all you need if you don't let the other team score. But that's how violently inconsistent this offense has been, and that's not going to get you into the postseason. And if you do find your way into the postseason, again, an expanded playoff field, you're not really going to win. You got to find some sort of consistency. But you're running out of time. You're not that far out from that second wild card spot. You would have to get incredibly hot to take over the Cardinals, who are currently sitting in that second spot in the National League Central, which, again, is an automatic playoff berth. First and second in every division in baseball gets a postseason berth. You're not catching the Cubs. That's just not going to happen. They're at the top of the division. You're not going to catch those guys. They're going to win. But that second wild card is within range. Brewers have got to find some consistency with this offense. Hopefully tonight is the start in that direction. But again, I've seen this team score 19 runs, only to come back and score 1 run and no runs. Again, they're currently up 17-2 on the St. Louis Cardinals as we record toss. They got to find some consistency because they are running out of time. Let's finish up State of the State here on Toss and talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. The Eastern Conference Finals started tonight between the Heat and the Celtics. Congrats to the Celtics advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. It was a fantastic overtime game. Bam Adebayo with the block on Jason Tatum to seal the win in overtime. It was everything you wanted from a playoff game, and it is as I said and as I've written. If Miami's going to play this kind of defense and make the shots that they have been making, they can beat anybody, and they proved it again tonight. So I think we're in for a fantastic series there. I'm hoping for 7 games worth of that intensity because I can handle that, even though it hurts. And I just want the Bucks to be there. I can handle that type of intensity. But again, we're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks. They should be there, but they are not. They got beaten by the Heat. And now it turns to off-season business. And it's that point in the offseason early on where everybody's saying things that are going to be blown out of proportion. Everybody's just taking the smallest things and running with it. Giannis had a bit of an unfollowing spree, unfollowed all of his teammates, unfollowed the Milwaukee Bucks franchise Twitter. Everybody is taking that to mean, oh, he's out the door. He's 1 foot out the door. He's going to demand a trade, even though he's already come out and said, I'm not demanding a trade. It's not happening. But you've got everybody working in overdrive trying to read into this. And it's funny to me because I'm just sitting back, sipping on some nice yak, some nice cognac, some Douce. And I'm like, he's not going anywhere. He did the same exact thing last year. He detached completely from social media. He did the same thing earlier this year in the tragic death of Kobe Bryant, Gianna Bryant, the other passengers on that helicopter, as well as the pilot. Completely deactivated all social media. So this is really par for the course for Giannis. He just detaches from everything and from everyone, and he looks inward, goes into himself. What do I need to do to be better? What can I do to be better? What do I need to be better? How do I display that? that led to the meeting. Now, everybody's making a big deal about the meeting, and you have people coming out saying, oh, well, Giannis asked ownership to be unconventional in building this roster to go and win a championship. People I've spoken to have said, yeah, it was something like that. But it was really no different than the conversation he had with ownership last season after losing in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games to the eventual NBA champion Toronto Raptors. But because everybody wants Giannis to really go into free agency and everybody wants Giannis out of Milwaukee because they just can't handle a true worldwide superstar, top 3 player in the game, being in Milwaukee, being in a quote-unquote small market. Not that market size matters, because when you have the talent, the drive, the humility, the likability that a Giannis has, you're going to thrive no matter where you are. No matter what team you play for, no matter what team that city is in, people are going to come to you because they want to do business with you. And Giannis is very selective in that. Very selective in that. So everybody just needs to chill. The events that have unfolded over the last few days are the same events that happened over the last few days after elimination last season. There's nothing new to report. There's nothing to read into. Giannis is not going into free agency this year. Hello, everybody. I'm going to say this one more time. He has 1 more year on his contract. He's not a free agent. He's not going to force a trade. He's staying in Milwaukee. He's going to go after a championship. He's pleaded with ownership to get the pieces needed to make this work. And as I said before, as I said last week on the Bucks season wrap, we don't know when the next NBA season is going to start. We know it's going to be sometime after New Year's because they've already ruled out starting it around Christmas, which is in lockstep with everything I had been hearing for a few months now. So it came as no shock to me. But we don't know when the next season is going to start. We don't know what changes are going to be available to the Milwaukee Bucks. Salary cap's going to go down because of business losses due to COVID. There's not going to be as much money to pass around and try to make trades work or try to sign people. And, guys are going to have to take less because everybody's making less. I mean, there's a lot of intricacies that go along with this. And we're going to sit down, we're going to speculate. But the truth is, nobody really knows anything. Not right now. Season's still going on. You got conference championships going on. NBA finals still have to happen. The NBA draft still has to happen. There's a lot of business that has to happen before we can see exactly what moves can be made. So everybody just chill out, settle your tea kettle, as my friend would say, and let's see how this plays out. Stop reading into everything. Everything doesn't need to be read into. It's not worth it. And that's the state of the state. The Packers are off to a 1-0 start. Straight domination over the Vikings. They get a Detroit team at Lambeau on Sunday, looking to go 2-0. The Brewers, great pitching, inconsistent offense, but yet they are in striking distance of that second wild card in the National League. And the Bucks, Giannis ain't going anywhere. He's a free agent. He spoke with management last season. He spoke with management this season. He unfollowed people last season. He unfollowed people this season. There's nothing new to what he's been doing. Chill out. Let's go ahead and get straight into the toss sweep. Toss Sweep brought to you by the good folks at TossNationMedia.com, your home for the Toss brand of sports. Ooh, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I don't feel like the first game of the entire season is real. You know what I'm talking about? Like the first, like that Thursday, that one-off Thursday game, it just doesn't feel like the whole season starting. It doesn't feel real to me. It doesn't feel real until that full Sunday slate. And that's even if the Packers are playing. I know the Packers played at the beginning of the 100th season of the NFL, and just last year, and it was the Bears that went up against, and the longest rivalry in sports, and they came out with a win at Soldier Field. But even that, it still just didn't feel like the NFL season was starting. It just didn't feel real. Not until that first full Sunday slate of games, for me, does it feel real. But I digress. There was a game last Thursday, defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. We're at Arrowhead. Houston Texans coming in. Great quarterback matchup. Watson, Mahomes. Before the game, both national anthems were played, the national anthem of the United States and the Black national anthem. Both teams elected to stay in locker rooms for those. But they come out after those are played. And they come to midfield. They lock arms in a show of unity in this fight against racial injustice and police brutality, racism, oppression, all the original sins of this country. And the people, the small capacity crowd that was allowed into Arrowhead, felt it necessary and decided that they needed to open their fat mouths and boo this moment. The same people who will troll on social media saying, oh, we're all one race, the human race. We all bleed the same blood. We're all brothers and sisters. Why can't we just get along? As a way of causing division. This very moment, not that I needed it, but I think others did, showed exactly what I had been saying, showed exactly what Colin Kaepernick had been saying, what Eric Reed had been saying, what many other athletes across many different sports all over the world have been saying. Kneeling during the national anthem was never about the flag. It was never about disrespect to the military. It was never about disrespect to the country, even though the country is continuing to show black folk hella disrespect. It was about fighting racial injustices. It was about fighting police brutality. It's about fighting racism, oppression. It's about bringing equality and equity. This is what it's about and what it has always been about. But for those people to open up their disgusting mouths at Arrowhead and boo this moment of unity clearly shows that it was never about the flag, that it was never about respecting the military. It's because you have a problem with the thought of black and brown and white people being treated the same, being on the same playing field, being treated with equality and equity. You have a problem with black. I was extremely, extremely appalled to the point where I had to leave the room I was in. Because that's how much it got to me. Because every day I'm dealing with some type of microaggression. Every day I'm dealing with somebody looking at me funny. Every day I got somebody that's crossing the street because I'm walking on one side. Every day I'm dealing with something in this country. And I'm not the only one. It just proved that those people knew full well what that protest was about. And they don't like it because they don't want to deal with their own privilege. They don't want to see that everything they have may be because they have the upper hand and have always had the upper hand, not because of their skills, but because of their skin. Just a truly disgusting scene. Just a truly, truly disgusting scene. And I don't want to even spend any more time on that. I want to finish off the toss sweep and toss as a whole with something positive, a palate cleanser, if you will. I said at the beginning of this program, we are celebrating 5 years of toss. 5 years. Years of toss. I can't believe it. I popped on Instagram at the 20double and put, some of my thoughts out there on Saturday, which was the actual anniversary, and just wanted to thank everybody. And I want to do it right here on the program. Thank you. If you're listening in your car or you have, my program on your phone while you're doing dishes or you're cooking or while you're working from home or wherever you are, thank you. Because I do this for y'all. I love it. I love it. I have a passion for it. Otherwise, I would not be doing it. But I do it for all of you because I know what's out there these days. It's all clickbait and shouting and saying just the most outlandish thing to try to garner attention. And you guys don't have an appetite for that. You have an appetite for truthful, opinionated, and passionate sports talk. And that's what I work hard to bring each and every single one of you each and every single week. And for all of you to choose this program, it just, I can't thank you enough. It makes me smile. And it isn't just in the U.S., it's worldwide. It is worldwide that you're choosing to listen to Toss and rock with Toss and have done so for 5 years. That's love. That's support. And that's why I want to keep going. That's why I want to keep bringing you guys the highest quality content I possibly can. And that's why we're going to be talking about the next 10 years of Toss and the next 15 and the next 20. We're going to be rocking with each other for a long time. I promise you all that. But I just wanted to take this time to thank each and every single one of you for choosing Toss each and every single week. Just a skinny kid from Milwaukee that's trying to do some good, and y'all are rocking with me each and every single step of the way. And I definitely appreciate that so very much. It's humbling. It's humbling. So happy anniversary, Toss. Happy birthday, Toss. Whatever you want to say, but happy anniversary, Toss. And thank all of you for rocking with me for 5 whole years, man. That's trippy, but let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Well, that'll do it for me. It's time for me to get on up out of here. That was episode 49, the 5th anniversary of Toss. We ran through State of the State. We ran through the Toss sweep. We'll be back again next week. In the meantime, Facebook.com/T on Sports Show. That's TON Sports Show. Toss Nation Media, your home for the Toss brand of sports. And you can catch me on Instagram at the20double. Oh, guess what? You can catch me on Twitter at the20double. So I made it extremely easy for you to keep up with everything Toss Nation Media. But as I said before, it's time for me to get on up out of here. This is T Squared, Tristan Thomas, reminding you to keep it moving forward. Always forward. Forward always. Until next week. So long from Toss.